It is the end of the world, bellowed the caterpillar. It's just the beginning, responded the butterfly. Anonymous. Quick question. Who is leading you? Have you ever stopped to ponder on who may be in charge of your life? If you have ever asked any of the above two questions, or similar, you're not alone. It was June 23rd, 2012, on what would have been my 23rd birthday. I can still recall the chain of events as if it were yesterday. A day that completely altered my perspective in life. It was a warm morning in Abuja, Saturday morning football, as we love to call it. These were times of fun and friendship at the beautiful Form 1 primary school. Some of the participants in this story are here present. We had played decently on the day. I had scored a couple goals, and we were about rounding up our things. I can recall that I was very popular, and I had to go make some purchases for the party later in the day. Let me just get one more last game in, Matt. One of my friends called Chalet. I bellowed. And he said, okay, have the game. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I went in for a tackle with one of my friends. We all heard a crackling sound. It was quite loud. I looked at a couple people's faces. Of course, you could recall, this is microseconds. I looked at a couple people's faces. They were grimacing. The person that I went for the tackle with was just a few feet away, cowling on the floor. I stood on my left leg to respond to him because I thought he had a challenge, and probably that was why the people's faces were funny. Stood on my left leg, only to look at my right leg. It was dangling, almost severed. Whew, I passed out. For the next 6 months, I underwent a surgery and recovery in the process of anticipating to go to law school. Initially, my friends visited frequently. I was, like I said, quite popular. But after a while, the Aristotelian statement that nature abhors a vacuum became my stark reality. Nobody came again. One day, a friend of mine visited and serendipitously left a book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Immediately I picked up the book. It was an instant bore. Archaic language, I dropped it and went back into my destructive self-rumination. Another time, recall now that my friends were no longer visiting frequently. While I was bored stiff in my mind, with nothing else to do and on pain medications, I decided to pick up this book. What a gem it turned out to be. After this moment, the frontiers of my mind started expanding. I started seeking similar literature. And boy, what a journey I had started at this point. For the first period, starting to learn some of these things, I recall that in my secondary school, I was very curious. But as you go through rote learning, a lot of people's curious capacity start atrophying. This was quite my own case. How many of you here have ever heard of the statement, curiosity killed the cat? Please just indicate. Amazing. How many of you as well have heard or seen the cartoon called Curious George? Anybody? Curious George? So Curious George was a fictional monkey that used to get in trouble consistently. These statements and depictions, as I refer to them, added and contributed in casting curiosity in a negative garb. Right? Of course, this had evolutionary value. Back in the wild, in most primal societies, we did the best we could to conform to those of our loved ones, our band, our community, our tribe. Of course, this had survival implications, such as a secretion of key hormonal chemicals that facilitate life, such as dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and the rest. But over time, we recognize that if we keep following the pathway or steps of our loved ones, we might not necessarily be able to chart our own course. Psychologically speaking, there are two key ways in which we perceive and process stimuli. We have what we call the bottom-up approach, as conceptualized by E.J. Gibson. And we have what we call the top-down approach, as conceptualized by Richard Gregory. In the bottom-up approach, we perceive raw sensory data collection. This is most especially utilized by children who do not have any prior conceptualization of the experience they're having. A couple days ago, I was speaking to one of my friends, or we were on a video chat with one of my friend's son, Aiden. He was trying to make out some words. The father definitely understood him, but I didn't. So you see, to crawl, to walk, to even run, you need to start from the basics. That means you use the bottom-up approach. Over time, we start concretizing or making more sense of the world, that we now have to use what we call the top-down processing, because we have already figured out some ways of doing things. If you get into your car today, you're not going to ask yourself, are you going to step on the accelerator or the brake? It's already automated, right? Your parietal lobe, that part of your brain, already controls your automatic activities. The implication is that many adults are not relating with reality as it is, but their own extrapolated model of reality. If an adult encounters a stimuli, he makes sense of it halfway by using his top-down processing, and then the rest, he just uses his experience or what he expects to come out of the circumstance to fill it up. Right. But for you, you should seek to see life as it is. If it rains, for example, do not ask why the rain and lament that it has disrupted your schedule. Rather ask curious questions such as, what is this rain? What is the rain made of? Is it God somewhere in the sky pissing on us? These questions are not asked for you to get answers for them, but they're only asked for you to steer your mind away from negative to curious states, in order that your brain can become a magnificent transducer of stimuli. Curiosity has assisted humankind in making progress. We know that science, technology, industry, and language all owe its expansion to curiosity. Curiosity can as well help you to ask fundamental questions upon which your life is anchored. Questions such as, who am I? What am I doing here? Do I have the power to change things? Are quite essential. When you ask these questions, what happens is you put your mind in a different way from the regular programming that you have. As well, we have recognized that the first part of any problem, or the first part to any innovation, is a problem, right? With curiosity, you start finding a way to address problems that come into your path. There's what we call cascading knowledge or cascading awareness, where once you learn something, you always have an urge to want to share with people around you. And this way, you're helping cascading awareness to your friends and your family. Curiosity has also been a very essential part of human development. People have learned new languages not being from a particular environment. For example, curiosity drove me personally to want to learn French. I'm not the best, but I can say, je parle un seulement petit peu français, mais je comprends beaucoup. Si vous parlez en plus longtemps, moi je vais comprendre mieux. Curiosity assisted me in getting fit and getting healthier. Curiosity assisted me in becoming more charismatic and charming. Similarly, curiosity is helping me on my path to building wealth. I have failed, relearned, unlearned, reapplied, and succeeded. Right. Recently, in the Nigerian political space, we witnessed what curiosity can do through the galvanizing and resurgent bottom-up approach of the obedience movement in the political space. Correspondingly, we witnessed the energy deliberateness and intentionality with which Miss Hilda Bassi smashed the Guinness World Record for the longest time spent cooking by an individual. It is speculated that we live life on mental states. For example, as you all are listening to me right now, your brainwave is on what you may refer to as the beta brainwave state. You're attentive, you're focused, you're trying to get information. That's the number of cycles per second that your brain is processing information on. If you were to take a walk and be in a state of reverie, you might transition into the alpha state. If you were about to delve into sleep or in a meditative trance, you'll move into theta, probably delta, epsilon, or gamma. The implication of these brainwave states is that if the physical body can be trained to look a certain way, then the mind as well can be. And if the mind can be trained, then we have a couple tools that you can apply in order for you to wield curiosity consciously. Self-inquiry, meditative practices, the ability to transform your perspective in the face of new and overwhelming evidence, and the ability to infuse positive traits into your life. You can go a long way in increasing and re-engineering your awareness in this 21st century. I make this bold claim that curiosity changed my life. You may say, oh, but I was just serendipitous. But nonetheless, it has helped me in transforming my life. The same tools and resources that I used can be applied in your own life as well. Who says you can't have a life worth living in an emerging society? It starts with you on learning the toxic traits, such as lack of confidence, self-doubt, and fear that have been bequeathed upon you by your evolution and societal upbringing. You have raw choice to be deliberate about how you infuse curiosity into your life. The caterpillar who thought it was over when I fractured my tibia and fibula has now seen that there's a new vista where a new butterfly is emerging. You can use the same tool for yourself. You only have to be deliberate and conscious about infusing and using curiosity for your own self-transformation. Take back your power. Thank you.